From 6 News, this is Feel Good Friday.
It's an incredibly rigorous audition process, so to be able to make it to the end together was even the cherry on top.
There's a huge willingness and potential in people just offering a little bit of help to create a little bit of a better environment.
Well, thanks for joining us on this Feel Good Friday. I'm Siobhan Klepp. Good news going tonight in Ingham County with a woman's journey from addiction to sobriety and the person she calls a hero. We went to a recent sobriety court graduation where Elaine Chamberlain reconnected with the Lansing Township police officer who arrested her. Our photojournalist Blake Wilson has more.
I decided that I was going to write Lieutenant Leitner a letter after I'd seen him a couple of times, because when I did see him the first round, I was still full of shame and embarrassment and didn't want him to even recognize me.
That this was the first one I've ever received from someone who I had arrested for OWI.
His approach was calm. Obviously, during the immediate part of the arrest, I didn't know any of his history, but that's where his compassion comes from, because he has family and people that mean something to him suffering as well.
A lot of times officers don't see this part of the journey, like Judge Allen usually says, on their worst day. And this was one of her worst days. I've seen it in my own family, and that if she ever needed anything, to reach out.
And I saw him supporting other people at the sobriety court graduations, religiously going. And I was like, now this is somebody who's putting himself into the community, the same way that I should be putting myself into the community and paying it forward.
She's told me she's in the process, and she said, I'm going to graduate, and when I do, I want you to be there. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I'll be there.
Because he was always smiling. He was always happy. And then he would say things like, I'm glad to see that you're finally healthy looking, that you look happy. He would come up and give me a hug and be like, how are you doing? And check base with me. And with him not hardly even knowing me, that meant so much to me, that I was kind of making a family connection with a stranger at that point.
You made a friend.
Yeah, a friend for sure.
It makes me feel really proud of all the work that she's put in. It just felt really good. Again, rewarding that something I did, actually made a difference for somebody.
Do you more so look at him kind of like a hero?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Congratulations, Elaine. Well, in Mason, Dart Bank is celebrating as well, a milestone, 100 years in business. Today, state officials and others gathered to honor the bank with a special tribute. State Senator Sarah Anthony and State Representative Julie Brixey made an official legislative tribute to the bank. Officials talked about the rarity of having a bank in a community for this long. Representative Brixey tells 6 News she was the Meridian Township treasurer in 2008 during the Great Recession, and she knows what banks went through in those days.
And I can personally tell you from my experience, being treasurer of Meridian Township, what an astonishing feat and what an amazing feat it is for Dart Bank to be here today. To have made it through that time. I think there were 1,083 banks that failed.
The event also featured tours of the bank and artifacts from the last 100 years in banking. And another 100th birthday is happening this year. New York's Radio City Rockettes are marking the spectacular anniversary. The dance company was founded a century ago, and it has become a cherished New York holiday tradition. Bradley Blackburn has more on how they're celebrating.
At Radio City Music Hall, every Rockette who's graced the stage has a story.
Every year it's a different line, it's a different sisterhood.
Caitlin Gaffney is a 15-year veteran. Swaith and Alapanini is in her second season.
A lot of us grew up dancing, training, dreaming.
People love the tradition of coming back every single Christmas season.
And for twin sisters Courtney and Caitlin Sullivan, it's a true family affair.
It's an incredibly rigorous audition process, so to be able to make it to the end together was even the cherry on top.
They're all part of a dazzling history. The kick line kicked off in St. Louis in 1925 as the Missouri Rockets. The precision dance troupe soon moved to New York and in 1932 began performing at the new Radio City Music Hall.
Radio City Music Hall, the world's largest movie theater.
In the late 70s, Rockettes picketed to help save the iconic Art Deco theater from demolition.
You said this building has inspired the production.
It has.
Julie Branham is director-choreographer of the Christmas Spectacular and a former Rockette herself, part of this troupe for 38 years. To celebrate their centennial, they're inviting thousands of past Rockettes to share memories.
And trying to discover Rockettes we may not know about that aren't in the database so that we can celebrate 100 years of Rockettes with other Rockettes.
Through the years, the company has grown more diverse, the show even more spectacular. But the famous Parade of the Wooden Soldiers has stayed the same since the beginning.
Every woman who has ever been a Radio City Rockette has worn that costume.
Some things will never change.
It's surreal to stand on this stage.
And walking on stage at Radio City will always inspire awe.
Every time I get on stage, honestly, I can't believe it.
Testing my balance here.
They make it look easy, but what the Rockettes do is hard.
Oh.
That's the magic now moving them into a second century. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
From the East Coast to the West, teenagers in a foster care program in Los Angeles are able to look their best for their senior prom thanks to a nonprofit that's providing free dresses and other clothes. It's called CASA, Court-Appointed Special Advocates, and they recently held a glamour gowns and suit-up event as they have for the last 20 years. It's a chance to help some teenagers who have already put in a lot of work to secure their futures.
Like my adversity doesn't have to define who I am. My past doesn't have to define me. My future is set. I am the first generation to graduate high school and attend college, and I'm very excited about that.
CASA officials say they've helped more than 8,000 kids look great over the years. Well, that was the scene at the Dubliner Irish pub in Boston on St. Patrick's Day when musician Ed Sheeran showed up for an impromptu concert. Before showing up, Sheeran posted on social media, "Meet me in the pub tonight," with no other details. The patrons of the Dubliner were the lucky partiers to get this concert. Kendall, oh man, that would have been awesome.
I want to be at just a bar or a concert or a restaurant randomly and have a celebrity come in for a concert. My night's made.
I know, and Ed Sheeran, he's so good.
I know, and on St. Patrick's Day?
Right?
I know.
Perfect.
We got all the perks there.
Yeah.
I don't think we have many perks in our forecast for the weekend. It is going to be a chilly start, and even when we warm things up, we're talking about rain moving in.
Okay, all right. Well, at least it's the weekend.
Yeah.
It's Friday today.
Right.
All right, your full forecast after the break, and then later, we're going to show you a life-saving brain surgery, and the life it saved walks on 4 legs. Stay tuned. There's lots more to come here on this Feel Good Friday.